WUUB Jupiter, a Good Karma Brands radio station.
Ooh-wee. Look at what that pressure make a golfer do. Sorry, Rory.
Live from the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios.
The man your man could smell.
Theo Dorsey is theoretically speaking.
But are you a different animal and the same beast?
What does that mean, Kobe Bryant?
Streaming live on YouTube. Here's Theo Dorsey.
You know, there's several different ways you can work your weekend, right? Sometimes you have yourself a nice lazy weekend where you just kick back on the couch, you watch a little sports, maybe a couple of movies, you eat some snacks, you get a little fat and happy. Lazy weekends are fun. I had myself an intentional and productive weekend. I had a lot of fun. Checked out some new spots around the area. I also did a lot of revamping to my living room, and also, CKatt, most importantly, I got back on that Traeger grill.
Wow.
Hopped right back on the horse. I know last time we talked about me on the Traeger, it was disappointing. I thought I could just slide by and make the burger sliders with ease, not a lot of prep. This time I went in and I over-prepared, and I did ribs for the first time.
Wow, that was a look-ahead spot. The sliders were a look-ahead spot.
Yes.
You know, you had the Titans coming to town. You thought you could kind of sleepwalk through the practice week and mop through them. No, it didn't happen.
I was up late like the Dolphins were on the Titans. Up by 13, 2 minutes to go, and boy, did they come back and get my ass. And that was the reason why I was feeling a little down that day after the sliders. But I put ribs on the grill this weekend.
Whoa.
Just yesterday. Some baby back ribs, and boy, were them things not tender. I tried to do the fall off the bone, but no, I had to cut them things off the bone. So I'm still learning, still working. By the way, if you have any Traeger tips, especially when it comes to the ribs and on how to make them fall off the bone, my line is open right here. 888-760-3776. 888-760-3776. It was a little embarrassing, but the sides were hitting. The mac and cheese and the baked beans never fell. So we did recover on that. Someone who wishes they could have recovered on their weekend and undoubtedly is likely just not having a good one, bouncing back off of what happened Sunday, is Rory McIlroy following that U.S. Open meltdown. A total and utter embarrassing meltdown. McIlroy, who led by 2 strokes with 5 holes to go at the U.S. Open. It had been 10 years, 2014, since Rory McIlroy was a major champion in golf, a guy that had that start of his career that was so promising. We were having thoughts of Tiger Woods, similar to the Scottie Scheffler situation. Thoughts of Tiger Woods' run early with Rory McIlroy, and that right there, the dismantling of his game, the missing of 2 putts from within 4 feet in the matter of 2 holes late in the U.S. Open, opened the door up for Bryson DeChambeau, who ended up taking it all right there, the 124th U.S. Open. Bryson DeChambeau gets the victory. But what's on a lot of people's mind is what did happen on that back 9 at Pinehurst number 2? What was the result? What really happened down there? And I hate, CKatt, when we get into this discussion when it comes to other sports of, did this guy win it or did this guy lose it? So that's exactly what we're doing here on Theoretically Speaking today. Did Bryson DeChambeau win the U.S. Open, or did Rory McIlroy fumble it away? And we put up a poll, actually, a Palm Beach County Supervisor of Elections poll of the week on ESPN West Palm on Twitter, at ESPN West Palm. You can vote right now. Was this a Rory win or a Rory loss, or a DeChambeau win, or was it a mix of both? But right here on the airwaves, we're not playing the fence. We're going to go one side or the other. And to me, in other sports, when you do it in the NBA, it's tougher to call. When you do it in the NFL, it's a way harder struggle and a tougher battle to decipher through. But what I saw out there from Rory McIlroy on that back 9 with the lead, with the chance to break a curse, at least what it feels like to be a curse, a guy that continues to finish top 10 but not hoist a major championship, Rory McIlroy utterly melt down in that situation, and that was a loss more so than it was a Bryson DeChambeau win, however spectacular that chip was out of the bunker for Bryson DeChambeau. I legitimately cannot believe what happened right there to Rory McIlroy, especially given that he was my pick on Friday when we took it to the house, CKatt. I went with Rory McIlroy. You went with Bryson DeChambeau, your guy from Live Golf, and I thought I had it in the bag. I was literally grilling my ribs, and as I was growing my confidence in how the ribs were turning out because they did look beautifully coming off that grill. They did look luscious. They tasted delicious as well. We got the flavoring right. As I'm watching the U.S. Open and getting my ribs right, I see that meltdown, and I had a similar look on my face when I noticed how just thick and tough the ribs were. That was absolutely disastrous. It was absolutely a Rory McIlroy loss and not a Bryson DeChambeau win. We're actually going to open up the Baptist Health Hotline early today, 888-760-3776. 888-760-3776 was the 124th U.S. Open, where Bryson DeChambeau wins it with a putt that he called one of the greatest moments of his life. Was that a DeChambeau win or a Rory McIlroy loss? 888-760-3776. That's the Baptist Health Hotline. Are you experiencing foot and ankle pain and need to see an expert in the field? Baptist Health Orthopedic Care has a team of foot and ankle orthopedic surgeons and specialists who are regarded as leaders in their specialty. Visit baptisthealth.net/ortho to learn more today. Baptist Health Orthopedic Care combines its resources of experienced physicians and leading-edge treatments and technology to provide advanced orthopedic, foot and ankle, joint replacement, spine, and sports medicine care. Visit baptisthealth.net/ortho for more information today. Baptist Health Orthopedic Care has offices conveniently located in Palm Beach County through the Florida Keys. Learn more by visiting baptisthealth.net/ortho. 888-760-3776. Was it Rory fumbling away a chance at breaking his major drought, or was it Bryson DeChambeau and his heroics down the stretch that actually clinched the victory? And again, I tell you, I've never seen something look so bad. I mean, I could have made those putts. And CKatt, you've seen how terrible I am, especially in my short game on the greens. Yeah, like within 4 feet. What was the number for Rory? Like 496?
Yeah.
For 496 all season long. It's not even a layup. Calling it a layup is almost too soft because you can miss a layup in an NBA game. That putt, unhindered, that's got to go in.
That was ridiculous on 16, and then to follow that up with missing a tougher putt on 18, but a putt he should have made nonetheless. It was disgusting. He made 4 birdies in 5 holes on 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. And then he just absolutely bleeped the bed. 3 bogeys in his last 4 holes, 2-shot lead, looking like you are who everyone says you are. And then all of a sudden, he proved the haters right.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Yeah. And that's the thing, too, is again, with Rory McIlroy, nobody's doubting that he's a talent. Nobody's doubting that he's one of the greatest golfers in the world, but there's a lot of people who doubt he will win a major again, especially with performances like this one and the ones he's had for the past 10 years, finishing top 5 actually 10 different times, I believe it was, Rory McIlroy, and now still coming up majorless. His last one, Valhalla, 2014. That's a long time ago. 888-760-3776, 888-760-3776. Was this a Rory McIlroy loss or a Bryson DeChambeau win at the U.S. Open? Jalen in North Carolina jumping on, theoretically speaking, coming off of a Father's Day weekend, coming off of a Rory meltdown. Jalen, how is this anything other than Rory McIlroy just totally letting it drip down his legs?
Well, I think, Theo, man, first of all, appreciate you having me on. I was actually boots on the ground earlier in the week at Pinehurst, so I just wanted to let you know I had a little insight there to the practice rounds. And I mean, from Tuesday, Wednesday's practice rounds, you look at Rory. He looked very confident. He looked very strong out there on the range. You know, as you watch everything that unfolded this weekend, I'd have to go and say this is a Bryson DeChambeau victory only because this is something we've become accustomed to when it comes to Rory McIlroy, right?
Ooh.
I mean, 2015, he had his first ever chance to win a Grand Slam, right, the career Grand Slam, and he choked that away. I mean, it's something we've seen multiple times. I mean, he did an Open Championship before. I think that was in 2010. Not 100% on that, but, I mean, this is something we see even at non-major events. Rory McIlroy, he's right there. A lot of times he's the bridesmaid, never the bride, man. It's unfortunate because he's a talented golfer. I mean, the skills are there, one of one, but it just looks like, I mean, I don't know if he has the ability just to close the deal. I mean, it's been a decade now, like we said. It has the game. The next question.
That's a great call right there and I appreciate the call, Jalen. That's actually a even more demoralizing way to look at it. I hadn't heard it put that way, but like, is it just a DeChambeau win because now we're accustomed to McIlroy folding in the big moment? Like, is he now like the Jason Tatum of golf? I mean, he's already won a couple, like 4 majors, right, already.
Yeah, he has a history of winning, but that's becoming ancient history. What have you done for me lately? It does not matter if you won a tournament last weekend. You got to do the same dang thing this weekend. It's easier said than done. Where you're saying whoever happens to be the running mate with McIlroy, whoever's 1, 2, or 3, you can kind of default, put that second or third guy, give him the gold medal, give him the trophy because Rory's going to fall out no matter what.
Well, then that would further prove my point then that it wasn't a DeChambeau win. It was he was the guy that was going to be second, but Rory fumbled it away. Like, and you can tell also by the way that Rory got his ass up out of there right afterwards that he knew he fumbled it away. Like, no better tell that it was all on you when you escape before talking to the media. I think back to Cam Newton with the Carolina Panthers in that Super Bowl when he didn't fall on the fumble. He catches all that flack. He exits that press conference. You don't want to face the fire. You don't want to talk to the media or to the public following one of the biggest disappointments of your life. Like, I don't blame Rory McIlroy for getting out of there in time because that was literally a mental meltdown. Like, if in the biggest moment, one of the brightest spots of your career, something that's as routine that you literally have done nearly 500 times and have aced it every single time, you fail on that, and then similarly miss another putt on 18 just 2 holes later in a similar spot, like, that's all on you. You make those 2 putts, you win the U.S. Open. You make at least one of them, you potentially go to a playoff against Bryson DeChambeau, but especially when you heard DeChambeau afterwards talk about how he heard the moans of the crowd when Rory McIlroy missed that putt on 18, and he knew he had a window of opportunity. That doesn't sound like, to me, a guy that went out and won it. That sounds like a guy who was right there for the taking, almost like a dog. You know, when a dog gets some scraps off the ground, like, is he really eating or is he just getting the scraps of your meal? Like, DeChambeau was there to eat it off the ground because Rory fumbled it. It didn't feel like it was great. Now, again, the one thing that guards me from that, like that bunker shot.
Yeah.
Whew. That's crazy.
Ridiculous up and down. I think there was like a 2% chance this ball was going to be in the hole after 2 shots when that ball was put in the bunker. It was ridiculous bunker shot, but Bryson had his B game almost all weekend, Saturday into Sunday. The dude couldn't hit a fairway. I think he was like 4 for 18 hitting fairways in a course that should be punishing you for that. It didn't matter. His scrambling and his 2-putting was just off the charts good, but Bryson didn't have his A game, and that's damning when you're going against who should be the world number 3 in Rory McIlroy.
Well, the guy that's right here in our backyard, Jack Nicklaus, the Bear, he said it famously, like, the game of golf, 90% mental, and it felt like a very mental meltdown for Rory McIlroy in this one. It didn't feel like a Bryson DeChambeau win. As much as the heroics, as much as it looked good down the stretch, or at least that shot did itself and him sinking that putt and having the great moment, it did feel more like it was Rory opening the door for him, and he just walked clean through it. Again, you can jump on Twitter at ESPN West Palm and vote on our Palm Beach County Supervisor of Elections poll of the day. Was that a Bryson DeChambeau win in the U.S. Open, or was that just a Rory loss? We'll give the results of that later on here on Theoretically Speaking. We're still taking your calls on, was this a win or a loss? 888-760-3776, 888-760-3776. And in many other sports, CKatt, it does feel foolhardy to have this conversation because you're able to be out there on the field, right? In football, I know for Josh Allen in the 13 seconds game, we look at that one and say he played his tail off. He had an immaculate run. He did what he was supposed to do, but the Chiefs went out there and won it. Like, that's not a Josh Allen loss, but it is a Bills loss. That Bills defense was out there. For Rory McIlroy, and at least with the game of golf, it's more so you versus you versus the course. And when you have a lead like that going into the final 5 holes of a major like that for Rory McIlroy, you losing that one,
yeah,
I got to put that one on the guy that fumbled it away, not just the guy that took advantage of it. 888-760-3776, 888-760-3776. We've got Segway Sean in West Palm Beach. He's on Theoretically Speaking. And first, before you give me help with the ribs, Sean, before you give me help with the ribs that did come out a little too tough, was this a Rory loss yesterday or a DeChambeau win?
No, it's a standard Rory. That's not a knock. I'd love to be standard Rory, you know?
Yeah. He walked away with $2.3 million, man. He flew away.
Yeah, exactly. He's talking about eating ribs. You know, he's doing whatever he wants to do today. But anyway, yeah, he always comes up a little short when you think that he's got it all together. That sounds like something he typically would do. It's not surprising, I guess you could say.
Not surprising, and that I feel like is the most disheartening part about it, looking from afar.
Yeah.
But you said you had some help for me on the Traeger grill with the ribs, trying to make them fall off the bone. I tried to go with the 3-2-1, but it ended in sad defeat. Almost worse for me than Rory McIlroy. What do you have for me on that Traeger? What's a quick tip you can give me, man?
I've been off the radio for the last 15 minutes or so I don't know if somebody else already called in and gave you any basic tips. But what I can tell you is, obviously smoking for, a few hours or whatever, 6 hours they do on a smoker. But I'm not sure how long it takes on a smoker. But I know that's obviously the ideal way to do it, low and slow, to have them fall off the bone. But if you're going to do it on the grill, the only way that I've found that you could possibly do it is either do grill and then oven, or oven and then grill. I always do like about an hour and a half at a low temp, like I don't know, like a 250 for like an hour and a half, and then kiss them on the grill and then sauce them. And that's always sometimes those people say that if you put them in the oven first, then they'll fall apart by the time you put them on the grill. So you could do it the other way around. Kiss them on the grill for the marks and the outside searing, and then put them in the oven for a little bit of dry heat. But
a little blend.
Either way, you can't just put them on the grill like a hamburger. You can't just put them on the grill. It's going to take longer than that for the muscles to break down, tendons and stuff to break down. It's going to take a lot longer than that. So
that's real. And I appreciate the call segue, Sean. I mean, it's a little blend of both. Just like some people are going to try and say, it's going to be a little bit DeChambeau win, a little bit Rory loss. Give it a little blend of the oven and the grill. I've been hearing some hints of that. I might try that thing out, but at least I was not defeated by this. At least I got back on the horse and got on the Traeger and tried my hand at it. And Rory McIlroy, he has no choice, right? Like, he's going to be at that British Open. He's going to try and end that major drought. But especially coming off of this one, CKatt, I just don't see how those thoughts don't creep out of his mind. Like, if you look at all the statistics, if he's going down on the back nine with the lead again at a major, I mean, must-see TV, but also, like, that is maybe the most crippling pressure I can think of for any athlete right now in today's landscape.
Well, he's back on the wagon for the British Open, but he's going to be back on the wagon next weekend.
Yeah.
PGA Tour has scheduled a premium event next weekend, the Travelers Championship, because these guys want longer time off in between, so that means you stack the majors with the premium events. He's going to show up on Thursday, if not earlier, for the Travelers, and he's going to have to perform, because if he collapses and doesn't make the cut there, or, dare I say, even worse, falls up short and chokes away a lead next weekend, people are going to be talking, and it ain't going to be great about Rory.
It will not be. If it's not great for you out there on the road, well, might I suggest a solution? If you get into a car accident, a truck accident, a slip and fall, Anajar and Levine accident attorneys, Mark Anajar and Glenn Levine, they will fight for you. They don't get paid unless you do. That's how it works. Rory still got paid, by the way, $2.3 million. For missing those putts, I'll take that bag. They get you the maximum compensation you deserve. Call Anajar and Levine for your free consultation. Don't just settle for any attorney. Demand Anajar and Levine. That's the Anajar and Levine difference. It takes one phone call to take back control of your life. So take back control of your life. Call 1-800-747-FREE. That's 1-800-747-3733. Now, it's a packed show today. We have Evan Cohen coming up. On the other side, we're going to talk some NBA Finals with him. We'll even talk some Rory and DeChambeau. And also, it's a Duffy's MVP Monday, the greatest sound in sports. We leave you with our first Duffy's MVP candidate of the weekend, the person that shined the brightest. And CKatt, it comes from the U.S. Open.
Of course. I mean, this was 4 days of golf, and it was great every single day. It climaxed on Sunday with the best back nine I can remember watching since the 2019 Masters when it comes to majors. But I'm a Bryson DeChambeau fan. I'm a Crushers fan. I was rooting for Bryson all the way over the weekend, but he's
wearing your hat.
I'm wearing the hat today. If you're watching on YouTube, at Theo Speaking, my Crushers GC hat. But Bryson's not the Duffy's MVP that came from the U.S. Open this weekend. It's Francisco Molinari. Dude, on Friday, he needed a hole-in-one on 18 to make the cut. If he doesn't get a hole-in-one on this par 3, He goes home, having to pay his caddy, having to pay his airfare, having to pay his stay, not making a dime from the PGA Tour, not making a dime from the U.S. Open. So he needs to hold this one to make the weekend, and that's what he did.
Unless he pulls a Sepp Straka.
Good.
Oh, we've got a good bounce. Look at this. Look at this. Oh, facts. Come on.
Ain't no way.
This is the first time that has literally ever happened. No golfer has ever needed a hole-in-one to make the weekend, to make the cut, and actually achieved it. That's why he is historically my Duffy's MVP of the weekend, no doubt about it.
That's going to be hard to top. That's going to be hard to top. We'll give out a couple more candidates throughout the show and give you the winner, the Duffy's MVP of the weekend at the end. I think that one, talk about unbreakable sports records. Cal Ripken, I think you got a new leader in the clubhouse, if you will. We're bringing in Evan Cohen from Unsportsmanlike. We'll ask him about that one too, as well as the NBA Finals. Do they end tonight, or do we get one more game? Evan Cohen from Unsportsmanlike gives us insight on Theoretically Speaking after the break.
Live from the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios. Anajar and Levine